everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today I'm going to be giving my match predictions for week 9 Premier League fixtures. And finally, Premier League football is back, obviously due to the postponement of games due to the Queen's death and the international break. But finally, the Premier League is back, and that's all we've been waiting for. Let's be honest, it's pretty much the best league in the world, and we want to see the best teams play week in, week out. And in this week's Premier League fixtures, we are in for some amazing games. It's coming back with a bang. We got the Manchester derby between Manchester City and Manchester United. We got the North London derby as well between Arsenal and Tottenham. We got another London derby between Crystal Palace and Chelsea. Liverpool versus Brighton. So we got so many things happening, and let's see which teams will be able to pick up the decisive 3 points. However, before going into the video and give my predictions, you know what I'm going to say. Make sure you guys like, comment, and hit that big subscribe button right there. And make sure you guys in the comment section give me your own predictions. Who do you think is going to win in week 9 Premier League fixtures? So the first game I'm going to be predicting, it has to be this one. It is the Manchester derby held at the Etihad between Manchester City and Manchester United. And going into this game, it's quite a funny one, because in recent times Manchester United fans and the players have been absolutely bullied off the park by their arch nemesis rivals Manchester City. Outplayed, outfought, and literally beaten every single facet of the game of football. However, quite funnily, going into this game, Manchester United are thinking that maybe we can pull something off. We've won 4 games in a row. Ten Hag is playing a system which has been very efficient and effective in terms of getting the result. So why can't we go against Manchester City and pick up some points? Manchester United do relish this underdog opportunity, just like they did against Liverpool, and even some people predicting them to lose against Arsenal. So why not can they pick up all 3 points against Manchester City at the Etihad? And going into this game, I'm actually thinking this suits Manchester United. The pressure is no longer on them. The wholeness to take the ball, the game to Manchester City is not on them. We know Manchester City love to dominate, monopolise the ball and take the game to their opposition. Manchester United can sit within their low block, look to counter-attack with speed and intensity and really hurt Manchester City's high line. They done that against Liverpool, they done that against Arsenal, and they won both games very efficiently when it came to goal-scoring opportunities from counter-attacking positions. So why can't they do that against Manchester City, who have shown glimpses and signs that they are vulnerable to it, especially in the game against Newcastle when they conceded 3 goals. And going into this game, Malacia, Martinez, they're going to have to bring their toughness, grit, physicality in this game to inspire other Manchester United players on the pitch that we must disrupt Manchester City's tempo and rhythm. Because as soon as Manchester City start to build momentum during the game, it is hard to shake them out of this rhythm. So they have to be crunching into tackles, throw them off the game, get tight to players, win their 50-50 battles so they can literally counter against Manchester City. Eriksen's going to have a decisive, important game as well, because we know that he's able to pick the pass in that CDM role to try find Rashford or Sancho, whoever's making that run in behind. Marcus Rashford, we know in the game against Arsenal, came off limping due to a hamstring injury. It is very important he starts this game. He provides Manchester United a very important outlet ball, especially when they have lack of possession and are tiring chasing Manchester City down. Also, it's going to be very interesting to see what Ten Hag does, because although I did see Eriksen is very important, and he is, but I don't know if Ten Hag will favour to partner McTominay with Casemiro to provide extra protection within that midfield battle, because it is a bit risky to allow Eriksen, who we know off the ball when it comes to defensive, when it comes to work rate, when it comes to obviously tackling and getting and winning the ball back, that's not one of his most important strengths. So if he plays, and we know McTominay, he although has been playing well, we know he's not Manchester United's finished article when it comes to winning the ball back and progressing the ball as well. You need a player to help McTominay alongside him, Casemiro or even Fred, like I said, to ensure that Kevin De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva are kept quiet. However, from a general sense, I think this is too much of a mountain for Manchester United to climb to try and beat Manchester City. We know Manchester City have been absolutely magnificent this season, still yet to lose a game, winning in the Champions League, winning in the Premier League, and the way they've been playing is just unbelievable. Yes, Manchester United defensively have absolutely improved and do look like one of the best defensive teams within the league when it comes to Martinez and Varane being that solid combative partnership. but it's a different animal when they're versing Erling Haaland. Naturally gifted, naturally strong, naturally physical, just a specimen. How is Martinez going to deal with this when we have seen at times this season going against target men like Welbeck and even Ivan Toney, he has struggled. Now you're versing a clinical version of that, one of the best strikers in the world. This is going to be a massive test for Martinez. Also, we know Manchester City are just superior compared to Manchester United. I just can't see Manchester United shutting off Manchester City throughout the 90 minutes to get the win, because although defensively they've improved, I feel like going forward they're still not clinical. So going into this game, I am going to be predicting a 3-1 victory for the home side, Manchester City. So the next game I'm going to be predicting is Arsenal versus Tottenham Hotspur, a North London derby. And if you ask most neutral fans, I'm probably looking forward more to this game because I feel like it's a much more thrilling contest. There's always drama if that means red cards or VAR decisions. There's always entertainment because there's so many goals going and flying in, like we saw last year, Arsenal winning 3-0 by half-time at the Emirates. So I feel like this game is not going to disappoint and it's going to be the game of the weekend between the two sides. And who would have thought we would have reached week 9 in terms of the Premier League and we would be saying that this is a clash between first and third. Arsenal, top of the table, Tottenham third. I can't believe it. I think most fans can't believe it, but it's going to be an exciting contest and let's see which team will win. And although going into this game, I feel like Arsenal have been the much more superior side, dominant within the league, playing great style of football, entertaining, really taking the game to the opposition, and Tottenham really haven't, and I feel like they've been fortunate when it comes to a few results this season. I still feel like Mikel Arteta must approach this game with appropriate fear, because the way they match up, we know Antonio Conte is going to favour a counter-attacking style of football in his natural 3-4-3 system to try break down the play whenever Arsenal get the ball within the midfield and try counter-attack with Kane and Son being his match winners. The thing is with Arsenal, obviously on the ball they look spectacular. Zinchenko drifting into the midfield, Xhaka bombing on like a number 8, other players like Saka, Martinelli, Odegaard interchanging fluidity. But when they're out of possession, this is where Tottenham Hotspur come to life. They are devastating. They transition the ball with so much speed and intensity that is going to hurt Arsenal. And if you look at Arsenal this season and when they have struggled, it's against teams who counter-attack. We saw it in the game against Manchester United with Arteta's naivety to remove his only DM during that game, which gave Man United so much space and time to keep pinging balls in behind for Rashford to chase. Literally, they're going to do the exact same thing, Tottenham Hotspur, when we know Harry Kane can drop deep, look up and try and find either Kulusevski or Son to score goals. And these guys have been in decent form themselves. I know Son didn't start the season well, but he scored a hat-trick in his last game against Leicester City. Kane as well, third top goal scorer in the Premier League this season. So it feels like they're starting to find their rhythm, starting to find their flow within this season. And I feel like they're going to cause Arsenal a lot of problems, which they must be wary of. And also, I know Arsenal have a spectacular record against Tottenham when it comes to the Emirates. However, at the end of the day, I feel like Conte has installed toughness, grit, fight, spirit, all those adjectives into that Tottenham side. They're no longer that flimsy, cowardly side who fall to the sword against top oppositions. We've seen them go away to Chelsea, not play well, get a result. Last season, home and away wins against Manchester City. Also not losing to Liverpool. So against the big sides, they have shown that they can stay within games and muster a result if they can. However, I can't bet against Arsenal. The record is just too hard to overlook. Arsenal, it just feel like they know what they're doing when they're versing Tottenham at home. And I just feel like the intensity, the energy, the environment, the atmosphere, which is going to be held at the Emirates, which the fans will be pushing the home side on, is just going to be an overload and too much for Tottenham Hotspur. Arsenal are going to win more 50-50 balls, more challenges, more tackles, and when you win those sort of battles, there's going to be a lot less chances for Tottenham Hotspur to counter-attack. So I'm going to be predicting a 2-1 home victory for the home side Arsenal within the North London derby. So the next game I'm going to be predicting is Liverpool versus Brighton, and let's see which team will be able to win. I think it's going to be a fantastic game, one of the best games this weekend has to offer. And going into this game, I feel like Liverpool needed that that well-needed rest when it came to the international break, because it just felt like we were a target against the media, rival fans, always bullying Van Dijk, making memes, compilations of Trent Alexander-Arnold when it comes to defensive ability. So I just feel like taking the pressure off, having a breather, sitting back, regathering ourselves is going to do us a world of good with a mental rest when it comes to this game against Brighton. We know we have the quality, we know we're going to dominate this game, we know we're at home, so we really should be winning this game. And I feel like we couldn't have picked a better time to verse Brighton. Obviously, hiring in the new manager since Graham Potter left to go to Chelsea, there's going to be different ideas, different system, maybe even a formation change from a 3 to a 4 at the back. So Brighton are going to have to adjust, are going to have to tinker with their way of playing to suit the new manager's needs. So will Brighton actually be ready for this game against Liverpool? I don't know. I know Brighton are higher than us. Brighton have been playing well, but I feel like the system change is going to disrupt their rhythm, disrupt their flow in this game against Liverpool to really hurt us where they're very good. Obviously in the left-hand side with Trossard, and even going forward with Welbeck, who's been very, very dominant this season so far. Gross as well, scoring goals. McAllister getting his first call-up for Argentina. So Brighton do have very good players, match winners, who have shown this season already that they're not scared of anyone and they can get a result. However, at the end of the day, Liverpool at home, and despite how bad we've been this season, we have still yet to lose a home game all season, and we know this is a great history Klopp has when it comes to this club in the last few years or so. I feel like Núñez and Salah are going to be raring to go due to their poor start to the Premier League this season. Also, Thiago's going to have another few weeks rest to get his form back, to get his fitness back. Also, Jota missing the early part of the season. I think this is going to do him a world of good. I think Liverpool will go back to winning ways in this game against Brighton, and I'm going to go for a 2-0 victory. So the next game I'm going to be predicting is Crystal Palace versus Chelsea, a London derby. Let's see if Mr. Potter can wave his magic in this game against Crystal Palace to deliver his first 3 points as Chelsea manager. And going into this game, I feel like Graham Potter will be a little bit frustrated due to the fact that it's been an inconsistency when it comes to games this season, being obviously the new manager, wanted more time on the training ground with his players, but couldn't, obviously due to the international break, not having enough games to develop his ideas as well, due to the fact of the postponement of some games due to the Queen's death. So I feel like Graham Potter will be a bit frustrated. But the flip side as well, he's had more training sessions, more interaction with the players, understanding their strengths and weaknesses, understanding what they're best at. So you know what, you can look at either way, and let's see how it's really impacted him when it comes to this game against Crystal Palace to see if they can win. And I feel like we've already seen glimpses, already seen signs the way Graham Potter wants to play his style of football. A 3-4-1-2, a 3-4-3, whatever you want to call it. The way he wants his wing backs to push on as if they're wingers. We saw under Brighton with Trossard as well. He's literally replicated that with Raheem Sterling down that left-hand side. Also playing two players up front, kind of, with Welbeck and Lallana. Lallana provided great support for Welbeck during this season. I feel like he's trying to do that, replicate it with Havertz and Aubameyang down the middle as well. Also pushing up the pitch, pressing, obviously leaving his three at the back a little bit isolated, having more trust in them. But we've seen it, and we've seen signs that it's gone well. But at times it's shown defensively, there's been vulnerability, inconsistencies, like we saw in the game against Spurs, because you do not want your aged centre-backs of Thiago Silva and Azpilicueta isolated in one-on-one battles like we saw. Crystal Palace may relish this chance if they take advantage of it, because they got talented young players like Eze who can beat a man literally with his trickery and flair. Also Zaha, one of the most proven established Premier League wingers we have right now. He's going to be a danger threat from that left-hand side, whoever plays there. So Graham Potter must be aware of this, but he doesn't want to send mixed messages, because he also wants to establish and implement what he wants his style of play to be when it comes to this game. This game is going to be difficult because you know Selhurst Park is one of the most daunting atmospheres when it comes to the Premier League calendar. So let's see how Chelsea will be able to deal with this, especially being a London derby. However, at the end of the day, Crystal Palace haven't played a competitive game of football since September the 3rd. So it's been a very long time. They're going to have to knock off the rustiness when it comes to this game, and Chelsea may have not have asked a better time to face them right now. I feel like both teams are suffering some disadvantages. Obviously, Graham Potter being a new manager, and then Crystal Palace not playing in the last month or so. So I feel like this is the reason I'm going to be predicting a 1-1 draw. So the last game I'm going to be predicting is Leicester City versus Nottingham Forest. 20th versus 19th. The laughingstock of the Premier League so far. Both teams have been horrendous, terrible, diabolical, and they need to improve right now to ensure that they're obviously nowhere near the drop. But going into this game, I want to start off with Leicester City. 7 games, conceded 22 goals. That's basically conceding 3 goals every game. This is so bad. Leicester City, I don't know what they've been doing. They've obviously lost Fofana. They've not found a suitable replacement. And defensively, they've just been a shambles. Whoever plays there don't look good enough. Johnny Evans, past his best. They've also lost Kasper Schmeichel in goal, who we know was the bedrock when it came to saving shots. And their new goalkeeper looks absolutely poor. Looks absolutely horrendous. So going this game, there's a lack to desire when it comes to Leicester City. And it's just going to be very hard to see them win a game. But the only reason you think they can win a game is because they're versing Nottingham Forest, who haven't been any better this season. They're literally sitting 19th in the table, obviously winning against West Ham, but ever since then, it's just been a downward spiral. Little rumours of Cooper maybe potentially getting the sack because he has not been relishing this opportunity of literally making Nottingham Forest a fresh of breath air when it comes to the Premier League. So going in this game, I don't know who's going to win. I can see them both losing, but since that's literally impossible, I have to pick a winner or at least pick a team which will get points. So I'm going to be predicting a 2-1 victory because Leicester's at home. Maddison has been in great form, and if you really look at it, Maddison, Dewsbury Hall, Vardy, that should just be enough to get past Nottingham Forest.